Welcome back to Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. So, we could actually try to take Zofia Castle right now, but Desai and Slater both there, and they're very strong, and our rating's only 585, so that sounds scary. Let's go to the tomb instead. Hey, look who it is.
Not so fast.
It's everybody's favorite.
Where do you think you're going? Don't you know whose halls this is?
Huh? But I thought this was the... That's enough, Python. There's no call to play a trickery with our new recruits.
Please stop hazing Alm.
Lucas, you ginger stud. You still drunk?
And yes, Python's intro in the actual game is just as good as the DLC intro. He just starts out by calling Lucas a ginger stud. How can you not like him?
Hello, my name is Python, I'm gay, and I get all the best lines in this game.
Waiting for you. Oh, hey, kid. I almost forgot.
Huh? What is it?
Terrors roam these halls. You'd best tread carefully.
Yeah, just FYI, they're zombies.
What are monsters like those doing in your hideout?
That seems irresponsible.
Well, to be fair, they technically got here first. We're just sort of borrowing their catacombs.
And we're not paying rent.
Terror's spawning
So they don't
hours
like us.
The closer you get to Milla's power. Counting them down only makes room for new ones, so we just let them be.
Oh yeah, fair point. Last time we beat up a whole lot of enemies. There was this glowing super zombie that did in an alternate universe kill Alm, so... Yeah, best not fuck around with that.
Get going, yeah? Oh, and hold your nose. Terrors stink.
Well, this game doesn't have smell-o-vision, so we're fine.
Their hideout is guarded by an army of the dead.
I love Alm's delivery there so much. So anyway, we can check out this initial hallway. There's our points such as the floor that we can look at. Dang. Look at that floor. Oh, and corridor? Who could forget corridor? That is just about it, though. There's no items.
I was waiting for you to find some, like, super secret hidden weapon.
Sir Clive's in the chamber way in the back.
Python, we know you're playable. Come with us.
Now he's gotta stand guard here. What if somebody else comes in? They won't, but what if?
Then they'll get killed by the zombies. It's why we leave the zombies around. They're extra guards.
Alright, so second dungeon. What do you got for us now, Alm? Got a monologue?
These sprawling catacombs were built as a resting place for Zofia's most distinguished families.
And now they're the most distinguished zombies.
Their halls are clogged with the stench of the dead. Rotten corpses who have risen again as terrors.
So yes, this would be our first proper introduction to terrors, if not for the fact that I played the Rise of the Deliverance DLC, and also did get murdered by a zombie in the other dungeon. But this is gonna be kind of a long dungeon here, so this is the first point where I'm going to speed the videos up, because, again, we've seen terrors before, and these are kind of samey battles at this point. If something happens, we'll slow down, but otherwise, yeah, just turtle. We're just gonna do a whole lot of turtling. Also, yes, you can speed up in-game, which is actually a very helpful function. If you hadn't noticed in the bottom screen, there are various commands. You can pause, you can skip the fight, or you can fast forward. Which if you're playing on your own, if you're playing personally, then absolutely do that. You can also press or hold the A button down to speed up combat, which is normally what I do in these games, because, you know, we all get impatient sometimes, but I think for LP's sake, I don't really like doing, or less LP's sake, more non-com sake. I don't like to have the fast forward.
This is the first voiced Fire Emblem you've done, so I wasn't expecting these chipmunk voices, to be honest.
Yeah, it's great. We get to hear the battle theme and all the chipmunk characters.
Christmas, Christmas time is here.
So yeah. What do we got for level? It's not a bad level. So anyway, yeah, let's see. Anything else about terrors that I want to say? I don't really have much. They might seem kind of intimidating here because they're in a pretty big group, but I've managed to thin their numbers down pretty well, and I don't think they can particularly do much damage against our current party, even the weaker members. We've been over this, but Silk will absolutely obliterate just about everything. She can heal.
So zombies like this are in every Fire Emblem game, right?
Not everyone, but typically, if the game needs some kind of monster character, they will have kind of a zombie as, like, the base unit. So you have your Sacred Stones, they've got zombies, there were the Risen in Awakening, and yeah, they're pretty much just here to be fodder. Usually in the Fire Emblem games where you can grind, I would say is one of the things. They kind of need an excuse for you to be able to fight a lot of a thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it would be kind of fucked up if you just killed soldiers repeatedly. I mean, you can do that anyway, but yeah. For the sake of making you seem less like monsters, those are there. And it was sped up, but Gray actually got or has access to a promotion. He can become a Myrmidon. Nowadays, the Myrmidon class is its own separate thing from the Mercenary class, but back in the day, they were one and the same, more or less.
Yeah, that was a weird thing about early Fire Emblem.
Mm-hmm. And then, like many things in the series, genealogy rolled around, and Myrmidons were suddenly a thing, and based heavily on, like, Navarre's type of stat bases, where he's speedier, but less damaging.
Yeah, Navarre is a gladiator in the original Fire Emblem, which is just fucked up and wrong.
It's so weird. That man is a twink. You can't make him all big and muscular and have a big sword.
And he's always been a twink, too. That wasn't a decision that came to later.
Mm-hmm. A little harder to tell in the older games, of course.
Yeah, but they had official art. I was trying to think of what Fire Emblem games don't have monsters in them like this. I know Three Houses has giant monsters. I can't remember if they have zombies like this.
That might be one of the ones where they don't actually have tiny monsters. It's all just the big guys. If you become a monster, you are very large. Usually, if you're gonna fight giant monsters and other things that are smaller, it's like thieves or something.
Yeah. I don't think the usual games had monsters in them. Of any kind.
Which game, sorry?
Genealogy and Thracia.
Oh yeah, Yggdrasil. Yeah, no, they don't have monsters because the monsters are just the people.
Damn it.
Sorry, I stole your joke. But yeah, original, both the original Arcanea games don't have monsters, unless you count the dragons, but I don't. Because dragons are basically just people, but on 4 legs, and kind of usually angry at humans.
I actually thought the Arcanea games did have zombies. I didn't realize they didn't.
Nope. No, it's just soldiers in those.
Huh. So, that's the thing I didn't even realize Gaiden introduced.
Yeah. It's a fair point. The terrors were in the original. This isn't a new thing.
Even in the original, it still had the Fire Emblem plot of, like, politics gives way to supernatural bullshit. But you were still fighting people the whole time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I guess technically speaking, you can grind in the original Gaiden, so that just lines up. Like, yeah, you still have your disposable fodder. You have an excuse to kill things.
And I can't remember if they're in the Radiant games.
I don't believe so. They're not in the first 2 Game Boy Advance games either.
So they're actually not as common as I thought.
We really took it to them.
Yeah, they're kind of 50-50-ish.
You can tell which Fire Emblem games I've played.
By how readily you can recall that, yeah.
Yeah, Sacred Stones. I did play the original Gaiden for some fucked up reason.
I mean, I feel like a lot of us tried Gaiden. How many of us stuck with it? Probably not a lot. I know I didn't.
Gaiden was the one that played like Sacred Stones, and this was back when everybody hated Sacred Stones for being weird and different.
Yeah, and Sacred Stones isn't even that weird and different.
Yeah, now everything that people hated about Sacred Stones is standard in Fire Emblem, so I win.
Sacred Stones was so good.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that was my foray into Fire Emblem instead of, oh god, is it 6? Blazing
7
Blade?
is the
7.
one.
6 is the one we didn't get.
Yes, that's the one with Roy. But yeah, Sacred Stones is also my intro because I got on board from the 3DS Ambassador program.
Oh, damn.
I bought the 3DS on launch, and there weren't a lot of games which people complained about, so eventually we got some NES games, which was whatever, and then they released 10 Game Boy Advance games, and I was like, oh, cool, these all kick ass.
I can't remember which one I bought first, but I did get Advance Wars and Fire Emblem around the same time. I want to say I got Advance Wars first, and then I picked up Sacred Stones, because I think I figured out they were the same developer.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually had Sacred Stones when I was younger. I forget if I've mentioned this in one of my LPs, I probably have, but I knew about Fire Emblem, but I knew there was permadeath, so I was too afraid to play it. So I didn't for years. Again, until the Ambassador program came out and was like, well, I might as well. I got the game for free. Tobin's a sniper now. Nice, nice, nice. Or can be a sniper, rather. It's not instantaneous.
Yeah, I remember the days when Fire Emblem Advance Wars just had a massive overlapping fandom and we didn't have to pick a fucking side. Mm-hmm. I really hope Reboot Camp does well. Oh god, it'll probably be out by the time this video goes up on it.
It might be. I forget when the changed release date was. Initially, it was supposed to be released in December, in which case it absolutely would have been up before the LP even began, but...
Hopefully that does well enough to, like, revitalize the franchise, although maybe they just don't have any more Advance Wars ideas.
We said it post-apocalypse, and that was it. That was the last thing we thought to do.
I mean, even by Dual Strike, it kind of felt like the new weapons were getting away from them.
Mm-hmm.
You make it look easy, Om.
Anyways, we're gonna ignore this chest?
I was just searching the rest of the room real quick. Oh. See, I have to have this leftover ale. It's very important. So yeah, what's in here again? Oh, that's just a silver pouch. That's just a lot of silver. But anyway, so we've talked about terrors, but I think we also need to talk about the Deliverance Hideout as an area, because it's really good and also kind of shows the difference between this and Gaiden. Thieves' Hideout wasn't really a huge improvement over, the original layout-wise. It definitely looked better, obviously, than Gaiden. But, it was pretty simplistic. It's a very straightforward, tiny dungeon, whereas this is a lot more complex. So, it feels a lot different, again, in layout compared to the first one we had to do. Whereas in Gaiden, it doesn't. Very few dungeons in Gaiden feel different from one another. I think it's pretty much the last one for a very specific reason, but the rest are kind of just squares that you walk through until you get to a fight. Whereas here you get to explore, which is cool. And again, the feel of this dungeon is way different from Thieves' Hideout, which, as long as you put any amount of effort into adding new stuff in terms of background design, it was gonna feel different. Because it's not a square. Here's me showing off warp. There you go.
Accidentally opening her up to massive damage.
I mean, massive damage.
And now Cliff has to be a bodyguard, which is not a role he's suited for.
I can set people on fire. The terrors really aren't so bad at this point, and besides, clearly these zombies want to go after Claire for some reason, even though she has the, weapon that kills them, specifically?
They're trying to get that away from her.
You're a danger to the undead. Get rid of that. We don't want it.
Just fucking tackle him, Lucas. You got this.
But yeah, exploration is something I extremely don't mind in Fire Emblem. I think we've mentioned this before. Three Houses switches it so that when you're not doing fights, that's when you explore, which also works. Oh, we got Windsweep as well. But yeah, I don't mind it here where there are dungeons. Admittedly, I would prefer a game which kind of makes more complex maps for the dungeons, like maybe just add set maps that you can replay like in future visits, but I don't mind like more set fights if they make the arenas a little more dynamic. Because the overworld's cool. Unfortunately, the battle areas are kind of just squares still.
Yeah.
But that is a bit of a problem that Echoes has in general. It's a good thing that combat flows well, because you might have noticed so far, we haven't had very complex fields, really. We mentioned this before. I should also mention, back there we got Windsweep, which is a specific skill. It's actually pretty good because I think it increases crit by 10. However, the most important part is it prevents the enemy from counterattacking, so that's actually a pretty good skill to use. There is still a point to use it, even if you have better doubles than just a single attack from a skill. Though, given Gray's general defense and speed, you might not even need to worry about counterattacks that much anyway, but, it's case-by-case basis. And earlier, Lucas... Oh, hi, you're new. Here's some Bone Walkers. They're kind of like the normal Revenants, except tougher. They've got swords, their heads are on fire, and they're hardier and have more HP, do more damage. But they don't really do anything fancy. They're just the indication that you are facing tougher zombies, because they're skeletons now. And if there's anything I've learned from Dark Souls, it's that flesh actually holds you back. You are far stronger as a skeleton than you are just a flesh man. So remove that skin and get to killing adventurers. You're better off that way.
That's another weird thing that's weirdly consistent among Fire Emblem. I don't know what it is with the Fire Emblem dev team that just made them go, yes, skeletons are stronger than zombies.
The skeletons just drink a whole lot of milk, so their whole body becomes defensive. Zombies don't have anything like that, and I mean, if they drink milk, maybe their bones will get more defensive, but like, what bones are even there? They're probably also kind of soft. Oh, well, that wasn't great, Faye. Ah, well, you've gotten good levels before, so it's fine. All is forgiven. Also, dang, only a video ago I was worried about Claire, and her, low damage output, kind of low defense, but she's already doing decent damage, but also not taking any damage. Anyway, as I've been trying to say before interrupting myself, Lucas also got an ability earlier called Defensive. It's a command rather than a passive thing, which makes it a little less useful, I think. Basically, you activate it, and when you're next in a fight, you take 5 less damage from attacks, physical attacks specifically. But that's not all... Okay, again, it's situational. If you find a really powerful enemy, it might be useful, but Lucas is pretty defensive as it is. So you're better off just not wasting the HP and taking 1 HP from a hit anyway.
I think in Three Houses the Dew had a skill like that, but it was either if he didn't move or didn't attack.
Yeah, is something like that. It was basically used for turtling.
It was a very useful skill to have, and I really enjoyed using it.
Ah, salutations, Om.
Hello, Claire.
And just what are you guffawing at? Such behavior is unspeakably boorish.
Sorry, very sorry. It's just, who says salutations on a battlefield?
Well, but I say it.
That's my thing!
Very well.
I really like Charlotte's
Our
Web.
fearless leader had me greet him instead.
Look at you and your fancy thesaurus. I mean, actually, no, I'm fine with it.
Claire. In fact, I like that about you.
I'm just pointing it out because I think it's neat. I've never heard the word salutations before. Anyway, I'm going to murder this terror. By the way, I think I forgot to mention when we picked up the lightning sword, but yeah, it's got range, wait, no, thing I mentioned, I mentioned that there's another thing that I don't think is applicable, because I actually think it's a skill, that the lightning sword gets. Oh, Claire's actually looking kind of sad there. Oh, yep, Claire's fatigued. We'll have to take care of that. So, thankfully, it's actually pretty simple. As you can see, she's set to 9 HP, because she's fatigued. So, let's go to the convoy and grab something for her to eat, because 9 HP is not a lot to work with. Have a flower. You can use just about everything. The Fruit of Life is a permanent stat increase, but it also does cure fatigue.
Oh, how rustic.
It's water, Claire. You'll live.
We all need it.
Why is it the sparkling water?
This doesn't have any Mio in it. You expect me to drink this? Yeah, controversial thing. Claire hawks Mio in Fire Emblem Echoes. I don't know. You don't hear people complaining about that product placement, even though it is really jarring.
Claire!
Brother.
It gladdens me to see you safe. I couldn't bear to lose you on top of everything else we have sacrificed.
You look so pale, Clive. Forgive me. You must have been worried sick. But I'm all right. Alm and the others arrived before true ill could befall me.
And you must be Alm. I've been looking forward to this meeting.
Yes, sir.
Please, be at ease. Such formalities are not required here.
We're chill, and also, gonna be honest, we've got more important things to worry about.
My name is Clive, and as you must already know, I lead the Deliverance. It's good to meet you, Alm.
Likewise, Clive. I can't believe it. That's the Clive, in the flesh and everything. What? Is he famous or something? So big. I am sorely disappointed.
I don't read any magazines, I'm sorry.
I don't keep track of celebrities. Leave me alone.
Seriously, man. Read a book. Okay.
So I do actually like seeing this scene after playing the DLC, because Rise of the Deliverance ends very well, and that it doesn't end well at all. It goes very poorly. Not only with, you know, them losing, which is what you know from this. It's very obvious that the Deliverance has been backed into a corner, and things are going bad. But also, now we know that the Deliverance is sad because they had to do a war crime to escape, so that kind of helps explain the mood a lot more.
If I don't know what they are.
Clive is disappointed in himself, not just for losing battles, which I think he could take, and also for losing something else that should be apparent. If not, the game will spell it out for us.
That being said,
but yeah, you can see why Clive is a bit shaky. To the point where he's actually got a deal that he was hoping to discuss with Myson. But Almtier's his replacement, so guess what? Now the main character just gets to be the leader of the main army.
Yeah.
Leader? Clive, have you taken leave of your senses?
This needs to happen, Fernand. You know it as well as I.
He's on the cover of the game, Fernand. What am I going to do?
I think the Fire Emblem that gets closest to averting this type of, like, protagonist-centered universe thing is Path of Radiance. One of the many reasons people fucking love Ike and can't get enough of him.
Yep.
He's in charge of a mercenary group? I can't think of the word I wanted to use.
Company?
Company, yeah. He's in charge of a mercenary company, but not even a really big one.
No, yeah, it's just small.
By the time Radiant Dawn comes around, like, everybody acknowledges that he can, win wars on his own, but it's not because, like, he has a massive army behind him or anything. He's just that damn good, and you know this because you played the first game, and you were that damn good.
Clive has done all he can to hold the Deliverance together thus far. But if our ship is astray, then we must chart a new course. Alm is that course.
I'll rip that traitorous tongue from your throat!
Then you'll finally have the truth in your grasp.
Damn owned.
I lost friends at the southern outpost.
I think I just edited this episode today, so I know Fernand also makes a tongue-ripping out threat at the end of that one as well. So I feel like Lucas heard that, thought of a comeback like 10 minutes later, and has been waiting all this time in hopes that Fernand would make that threat again. Oh, I'm gonna get him. I've got a good burn.
Lead. You would be inspiring the
In fairness to him, it is a good line.
You were Sir Myson's
Yeah.
grandson.
Also, don't worry, all. We don't need you to actually make decisions. We just need you to look good.
Please, for me.
You are the most figurehead of
My
figureheads.
brother tries to hide
People can look at you and go, yeah, he'll run headfirst into an army and probably win, so let's go with him.
I want to, but... All right. If you think me worthy, then I won't let you down.
Are you certain? Then thank you, Alm. Thank you.
Just... please, keep your expectations low.
Me when I go to do literally anything.
As you wish.
This could change everything. The boy will make a splendid leader. Simply splendid.
I've only been with him for 10 minutes, but he whips ass, as the commoners say.
Enough of this idiocy.
Fernand, what...
I only joined this damned army because you were leading it.
And you look good doing it!
You want me to take orders from some wretched farm child?
This is no mere farm child, Fernand. He has Sir Myson's blood.
Myson? Damn him and his blood.
And his organs, and his bones, and his muscles.
But no one even knows what wench the man sprang from. His entire story is a disgrace to the Sophian nobility. You need to invoke the name of that old man to control your men? Pathetic. Enough! I lost my taste for this long ago. We were supposed to be a band of noble knights, united in purpose.
But you wouldn't even tell me when you were doing war crimes, Clive.
The old order to Sophia.
That hurt. You told Lucas, but not me.
Baseborn serfs trying to lord over us. Like your Lieutenant Forsythe. Or that Python, true to his name he is.
I wish there was just an audio clip of Python saying damn straight after that.
Are you suggesting I deny them
Clive.
an award for their achievements?
He did finger guns at me once.
Would they have them?
And now he's mad because I won't return them.
Hear me, Fernand. Hear me well. I know you have your reasons for closing your heart to the common folk.
And they're very dumb
For the
reasons.
sake of our
And you have to
ideals,
spend
you
money to
must
learn
think
them,
beyond
player.
them.
No, Clive. I will not. I would rather die than kneel to some whelp who was birthed in the hay.
I was born in a hospital.
We part ways for good and
You don't actually know what commoners like, I don't think.
finished with you and your deliverance. Farewell.
Fernand, wait!
Wait, you forgot your lance? Oh, well, he's gone.
Clive,
If Fire Emblem ever had a crossbow unit, it would just be
I knew this was
obliterating people
We've
like
had
Fernand.
no shortage of clashes lately. I cannot force him to see things as I do. So, well, perhaps it's better this way.
Clive, I know it's not much in the way of comfort, but I'll do my best.
Thank you, Alm. We shall march on Zofia Castle just as soon as you feel we are prepared.
If you need to beat up zombies for a while, it's fine. We're not going to live here anymore.
Feel free to ask around to any of the soldiers here.
There are many reasons that Fernand's way of thinking did not work well in real life. Chief among them was that you could be a knight and train your entire life to fight in your armor and on your horse or whatever, or you could give a peasant a crossbow and an hour later he'd be able to kill you every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before we got muskets. Once muskets entered the picture, like...
It's over for you bitches.
There was no sense in trying to keep knights. You'd think the whole aristocracy would be thrown out, but...
That's due to the Emperor
can't have it all, I guess.
His own, you see. Anyway, he's said to be tough as nails. I sure hope I don't have to face him.
Sir Clive's lover, Lady Matilda.
So anyway, perhaps the most baffling thing is, you've noticed we didn't get Matilda. That's because she got captured, so we might be fucked. I mean, if Matilda went down, what hope do we have?
Sir Clive refuses to submit. One day Desai will tire of these games.
Is this guy also Curly?
Maybe.
Knowing this,
I cannot as readily find the voice actors for the minor characters.
Who can blame him?
Fernand's hatred for commoners is understandable.
No, it fucking isn't. Shut up.
Lands were starving because of the drought. They blamed Fernand for not providing for them and stormed his manor. His family died during the attack.
I mean, yeah, that sucks, but like,
a terrible thing.
Don't let that make you hate all commoners, maybe? Maybe that's a bad thing.
Were they going for revenge, or was he, like, hoarding food?
Yeah, that's the thing, like... I guess we're supposed to assume that, oh, Fernand's family was like, doing their best, and, you know, they were trying, but the unreasonable commoners just killed them, but, like...
But Fernand is absolutely the type to hoard food.
Mm-hmm, yeah. We know nobility, you know, just in general, sucks. Like, in this game, it's been proven that nobility sucks, so, like, look, his family dying sucks, and some of them were pretty young, but Fernand hating all commoners is, like, that's not an excuse for that.
It's also just unsustainable. Like, you can't keep that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he tries to keep it up, and it just makes him petty. Anyway, Tobin's a sniper now. And better news. Alright, Tobin, 360 no-scope someone.
I can do this. I can do this.
The 2 extra defense is nice, but also bow range +2 now, and also he gets an extra movement, so pretty solid. And let's make Graham Myrmidon, which gets 3 defense, so again, yeah, Myrmidon being part of the mercenary line is just so weird.
Isn't Myrmidon like Greek for ant?
Oddly enough, I don't know. I only know the Myrmidons as Achilles' group.
I thought they were like related to ants in some way, or compared to ants.
Maybe so, but yeah, I've not checked the etymology myself.
I just remember being a kid and thinking it was a cool word.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just like, whoa, damn. He's not a swordsman, he's a Myrmidon. No idea what the hell that is, but it's cool.
Ooh, good fountains here. We've got speed and attack, both of which are highly useful.
Also, it would appear both of which are not things we're hurting for.
Yeah, I'd say speed is probably the thing we need a little more, but let's make Claire a little stronger. Like, Forsythe's a little slow, but like, yeah? He's another knight. We'll get to Clive and the boys soon enough. We have one more guy to pick up though, so I'm gonna wait for that. Or sorry, defense and attack. Okay, defense is also very solid.
You're probably waiting until we see Forsythe in actual action, but it is interesting that instead of the red and green Cavaliers, they give you red and green Knights.
Yeah, they give you, like... Sometimes they change up the, dynamics.
Yeah, that is one thing I've always liked about Fire Emblem, is how they play around with archetypes. They're there, they make comparisons easy, but also, like, if you're paying attention at all, you can tell that they're different.
Oh yeah, they change them around so much. Like, the trio with a very specific attack in Path of Radiance isn't the usual, like, mono class.
Yeah, it's 2 bows and an axe guy, right?
I think so, yeah.
Heading off, are we? Well, take care. Don't let the terrors bite. Huh? Am I coming with you? Well, I could, but I don't have to.
Maybe I want to hang out in a tomb. You ever think of that?
We're gonna recruit him. Alright, so we'll see all their stuff. The Deliverance boys are back in town. So now I can actually talk about how they work as units. Starting with the leader of the bunch. You know him well. It's Clive. He is... well, he's okay. His main advantage here is that he's a Cavalier. So if you didn't nab any Cavaliers from the Villager squad, well, he fills a niche. However, he might be a little less than stellar on most fronts. He's got great HP and great attack. And that is kind of it. It's not that the rest of his stats are particularly bad, but they're also not terribly exciting. His skill, speed, and defense aren't really anything to write home about, and other characters do that stuff better. It's not that he's going to be terrible at hitting things, or awful at getting doubled by enemies, but he's also not going to have any particular advantages in that respect either, so... again, he's got the advantage of a niche, provided you didn't shove anyone else on a horse. And movement is very important, don't get me wrong. But yeah, he really doesn't have more than just those 2 things, and that makes him kind of struggle to stand out otherwise. I mean, he's got 1 resistance and a 2% growth rate, which can be comparatively better than other characters, but not by much. Next off, we have Forsythe, who is a little more interesting despite being a repeat unit. Like, a for certain repeat unit. We already have Lucas, but Lucas is very much a traditional knight. He is good at taking hits. He has high defense and high HP. Now, Forsythe's HP and defense aren't terrible, but they're not really what Forsythe's here for. Because really, if he was here for that stuff, Lucas would have him outclassed. We've had him for longer, and he's really good at those things. Instead, Forsythe is better in the attack and speed department, so he can't take hits quite as well as Lucas, but he can take them well enough to still be at the front lines. He's just also better at hitting things than Lucas is, so... if you find somebody with amazingly high attack power who will just carve through your units, throw Lucas in there, and he'll be fine. But if you want somebody to be able to hit back pretty well, and again, this isn't that horrible unit-destroying character with the highest attack you've ever seen, yeah, no, Forsythe's good for the job. Oh, and in case you don't remember Lucas's resistances, oh, Forsythe's is so much better. Lucas starts with 2 resistance and only has a measly 2% growth rate, but Forsythe has a 3% resistance rate. Which, I need to say this again and again, but like, that's actually better than most characters in this game. And not only that, he starts with 5 resistance, which isn't half shabby. So if you need somebody to take a magic hit, well, I mean, you didn't let your Pegasus Knights die, did you? Because they're better at that sort of thing. But if they're on the other side of the field, Forsythe does an okay job at filling in for them. Oh boy, he is almost adequate at fighting mages. And that's better than so many other characters, which is very sad. It's Fire Emblem Gaiden, baby. And lastly, we have the guy who really doesn't want to be here. It's Python. So Python's fairly strong and very fast. Unfortunately though, he has a bit of a problem hitting things. His skill growth rate could be better, and his skill base is, oh no, that's bad. Yeah, so Python's got a bit of difficulty hitting things. That can be mitigated a little bit with certain bows because they have skills that can improve your hit rate, but unfortunately that does kind of interfere with his actually good stat, again, that being speed. Python is very fast. His initial base could be better, but he'll catch up in no time. Unless you're unlucky. But provided that 50% does indeed come through for you, yeah, Python's gonna be very quick. Which means his chances to double gives him 2 shots at hitting things. I mean, it would be better if he had 2 shots to definitely hit something, but I guess you have choices. Either use his high speed to mitigate the low accuracy, or just use skills. You can't really use both, given the way skills work. Other than that, though, Python's fairly solid. He's got good HP, so he can kind of tank hits. His defense growth rate isn't great, but 5 defense is one of his better bases. So I wouldn't exactly chuck him into danger, but he can hold his own for at least a little while, and he's not bad against other archers. Surviving against other archers. Hitting them, again, bit of a problem. And when he does hit hard. So I can't exactly complain about that. I also can't complain about his resistance. He has 4% as a resistance growth rate, which is godly. How is this boy so resistant to magic? Better trained people cannot take magic for shit, and yet 4% growth rate and a 4 base. I mean, I guess theoretically he'd be okay against mages, but he's an archer. He really shouldn't be in range of mages. He can just be outside of their hit range just fine. So if you're going for a preemptive strike, that doesn't matter too much. Otherwise though, yeah, no, like all archers, he should be behind a wall of muscle. He works very well when you cannot smack him. I mean, look, he can kinda dodge, but best not leave that to chance, right? Just have him shoot people from a distance, and hopefully he can hit that Barnes broadside. 3 skill at a base, though, I mean, come on. Alright, so I've thrown up those, stat sheets, so... Alright, that'll be it for this episode, though.
Onward to Sophia Castle. We must wrest the castle from the Chancellor's grasp. Lead us well, Alm.
I'll do my best.
So let's see, what do we have for the end, though? Oh, that's right, I think I'm just going to equip everything with things and also show off the stats for the non-com version. But yeah, Forsythe, Python, and Clive all have their own special items. We also have the extra Fernand's Lance, but as you might have noticed, Fernand's not here, because he had a hissy fit. Or sorry, I don't think Forsythe has his own thing. Python's got a bow. I don't think Forsythe has a thing, actually.
Well, clearly he's going to take Fernand's Lance.
Well, he's not using it. Nah, he'll take the leather shield. He's a knight. He's gonna use the shield. That's just how these things work.
What is the point of you getting the lance if you're not gonna use it?